Happy Thursday! Hi, I'm Renee McLaughlin, and I'm a master T-Tapp trainer and a certified health coach. And hi, so good to see you all. Can you believe that we are already in the middle of January 2022? So, have you have started this year with some good intentions of getting healthy, maybe getting some more movement in? Maybe you're already in a challenge that you joined in a group or just on your own. I know I've started my 30-day T-Tapp live and recorded class package challenge, and we have been having a blast getting on together and doing T-Tapp. So I thought it would be fun to ask the question in my T-Tapp tips group, what questions people have. So in that group, we have such a variety of people. We have people who have been doing T-Tapp for a really long time and maybe just want some support around doing it or have questions. Other people that are like, I've heard of this crazy thing called T-Tapp. What is it? And I don't understand it. And kind of all over the board with that. So I asked what questions you have right now, burning questions that I might be able to come on and answer. And so 3 questions that I got. Number 1, how often do you do the workout to get the best results? And I can't wait to answer that one for you. Why you can get even better results when T-Tapp than maybe any other workout that you've tried, even if you haven't gotten results. Is it possible to get results with T-Tapp? Yes, spoiler alert. And the last one, where do you start? If you've never done it, where do you go to start doing the workout? So I'm going to answer all 3 of those, and let's get started right away. Please, if you're on, give me a comment. I always love to know who's on. Just say hi to me. Maybe send me a heart. It'd be great. All right, so let's get started. How often should you do the workout to get best results? So when Teresa Tapp, who was the originator of T-Tapp, which is why it's called T-Tapp, it was Teresa Tapp. So it's not tap dancing. If any of you aren't sure about that, you don't have to worry about it. I always get to tap dancing and I'm not coordinated. You don't have to be either one. Okay, so not an issue there. But when she first started it, she put together what she called, starting with what her words at the time, and they were very innovative way back when she started this workout, but she called it a boot camp. No, boot camp just sounds so intense, doesn't it? And all a boot camp meant with T-Tapp was that you do the workout anywhere from 4 days in a row all the way up to 14 days in a row. That was the most. And she claimed that she wanted you to do it at least 4 days in a row, a little longer if you had more inches to lose, more clothing sizes that you wanted to go down on. And then after you did that, no more than 14 days in a row, then you would go every other day to maintain those results. And so you might have noticed, if you happen to be in my T-Tapp tips group, it's T-Tapp tips, less effort, more results, because this is a workout that you do not need to, nor do you want to do really more on an ongoing basis than every other day. So let's talk about why the boot camp and what's the 4 days in a row, what's that about? Well, the reason that Teresa said do it 4 days in a row is because she had found that when you do this workout, day 3 and day 4, the body kind of goes through this, her words, like a metabolic plateau, where your muscles are just kind of getting some new muscle memory. You're in the process of burning some excess fat, building muscle, creating some muscle memory. And she just found that it worked best going at least 4 days in a row. Now, here's something that I found coming all the way forward, is that right now, especially, we are in such a stressful time. I cannot tell you that there are one woman that I talk to that if I say, are you kind of stressed? They go from, oh my gosh, to, yeah, just depending. But let's face it, we are living in some very stressful times. So when the body is already stressed, stress is what is causing so much of our chronic illness and our metabolic issues. So if you're having a hard time losing the excess fluff, maybe especially around the belly, and you think you've done everything, maybe you're exercising really heavy and not eating and it's just not working, the main driver of that is stress. You're just stressed. You're creating and generating too much cortisol, too much insulin, and it's just not going to work. So stress is really the biggest indicator right now, and the thing that we need to manage if we are looking at getting the best results. And results are such a big word. Like, what does that even mean? Okay. I'm assuming results, what you mean by results is starting to maybe deflate some of the belly, start cinching in, but it's also about feeling better, sleeping better, having better energy, getting tighter and toned. All these things are all about what we get with results with T-Tapp. All right, so needed to say all that to go all the way up to, exercise, especially intense exercise, either intensity or for a long period of time, is a stress. It's a stress on the body. So when we're talking about, relaxing and managing our stress, we don't want to do that by over exercising, because the body just sees that, experiences that as another stress, which is why if you are out there doing all kind of cardio and weight training and everything else and wondering why it's not working, you just got your answer. So I like to say that T-Tapp this is my new thing. And hey, Renee and Julie and Tanya, so good to see you. Thanks for saying hi to me. So I'm calling T-Tapp now the Goldilocks workout. And I call it that because, remember with Goldilocks, like the bed was either too soft or too hard until she got that just right. Well, I really believe that T-Tapp is the Goldilocks just right workout for where we are right now and where we are age and stage. And so what that means is we definitely need to be able to give our bodies muscle tone, strength, flexibility, mobility. We need to pump our lymphatic system. We need to move. And T-Tapp gives you all of those things, but you don't want to do it for more than 30 minutes at a time. So it's just in that amount of time that the body loves it, sees it as a positive thing, but not too long when we go over into the danger, stress response. Okay. So it's very muscle activating, as we know, especially how I teach it, slow it down and really use those muscles. So you will build muscle and strength with this. But then it's also got the flexibility and everything. So you can do it 30 minutes and get everything you need. And if you do a boot camp, you'll do it for, as I said, for no more than 14 minutes. She must have known something about that 14 days in a row. I said 14 minutes, 14 days in a row, right? That there was something. You don't want to go past that. That gives you the stress response. And actually, I personally believe 14 days in a row is too much. So I'm going to modify what she said, and I'm going to say no more than maybe 10 days in a row. You just don't need to do it. So here's what I found. In November, December of this year, I did what I called the holiday boot camp. And this boot camp we did the workout 30 minutes. We did it every day for 5 days in a row. And then I did my stretch class. I included that because that really helps us relax and reduce the stress. There you go again, stress. And then we could take Sunday off. Some people continue to do the workout. And then we did 5 days in a row the next week, and then stress. And people got really like blow away results. I mean, results that blew me away, quite frankly. I mean, we had people that had fibromyalgia that got out of pain in 1 or 2 days. Somebody that lost, I swear, 19 inches. And I always like to say that is not typical. And hey, Deb, and what did Deb say? I did a boot camp for 11 days. Yeah, beautiful. And I was a lot younger then. Right, 11 days. That's a lot. Okay. So we did it 5 stretch, 5 stretch, and people got amazing results. But even with that, what I found is as we got into the second week, I could really see that not everybody, but there were definitely some women who were getting tired. I could see that. So as we were going through even our 30 minutes towards the end, they were having some energy troubles keeping up. So we don't need to over exercise. I just want to stress that. So again, I'm going to go back. I don't believe we need to go any more than 10 days, and that's really at the top. And then just every other day, 3, maybe 4 times a week, 30 minutes, you're going to get everything that you need. And then in between there, if you want, I really believe that doing a beautiful, just relaxing stretch class is just a beautiful thing. Now, that's really to help us relax. And when we're trying to get rid of our excess stress fluff, relaxation is huge. That's what's going to do it. Can you imagine? Here I am, a trainer going, relax, girls, just don't over exercise. But that's what we're finding. And that's what works. I had a client the other day I was talking to, and she is very stressed out. She has a very stressed out job, and she just cannot get rid of that belly fat. And we were talking about this whole idea of relaxing and not to overstretch and doing some relaxing stresses. And she was loving that. And she said, you know, Renee, a few years ago, I had just hit the breaking point. I was so stressed out with this job, and I took 2 weeks off, and I went to Greece, and I just, man, yes, we walked. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I ate everything I wanted to. I drank, and she said, I lost all kind of weight. I couldn't believe it. It was the weirdest thing. And then it started to click. Oh, because she was relaxed. I'm telling you, that's a huge thing. The other thing with the stretch classes, we learn how to breathe in a way that really centers and shuts down our nervous system. So we go from fight or flight into that parasympathetic rest and rejuvenate. It feels so good. And I'm here to tell you, I bet you any money, most of us really have no idea what it even feels like to just truly relax. I don't mean to lay on the couch and watch TV. Yes, you're not moving, but that's not necessarily resting. That's not stopping the monkey mind from going and all, right? This is a whole other deal. And we also go and do some beautiful holds in those stretches, which really helps us relax and stress, actually, the connective tissue, the ligaments, the tendons, the deep fascia, so that we get much more resilient in those deeper muscles. Why do I mention that? Because it also helps us with anti-aging, stay mobile, stay flexible. So I hope that that answered it. I'm just going to go right back to one more repetition and saying every other day, 30 minutes. You will get great results. If you want to start with that boot camp, awesome. And then go, or just, if you've been doing it or just want to start, just go every other day. Now, why does T-Tapp work better than anything else? Now, I feel like I am in a unique position to express this because I have been in the health and fitness for over 40 years. Yeah, I'm old. Over 40 years. So I have tried, not everything, because obviously, how would I even know everything, but a lot of different workouts. And I have then switched and done T-Tapp exclusively for about 20 years. Yes, I did a little, Pilates and some other things, but pretty much I was doing T-Tapp. And then a couple years ago, I experimented and started also doing some other things. Yes, more Pilates. Yes, some T-Tapp. Yes, the bar, which of course I also love because it has a lot of the same muscle activation principles. But I tried a lot of different things. And you know what, girls? I came right back to, darn if T-Tapp just doesn't give just amazing results, like even if nothing else is working. And I find so many other trainers, they get up there, they're doing work. You could be sweating and moving and lifting weights and all this stuff, but it's kind of like, what are you doing all that for? It almost just feels like, it can be fun, and fun is great because fun is reducing stress and it's just moving, and any moving is really good as long as we're not overstressing and overtraining and even doing too much cardio. So moving the body every day, we now know is really important to help with insulin resistance. So it's a matter of just doing those little movements, the T-Tap, 30 minutes every other day, and then just move it. Just move it. Go out and take a walk. And I don't mean a power walk. I mean, science has proven, there have been studies now that show that just going out for a walk in nature, a calm walk, just an enjoyable walk. The more that we go out and walk, that seems to have the biggest effect at helping our cells become more sensitive to insulin and reduces the stress even more. Just going out and getting lots of steps. 10,000 steps, whatever it is, just moving. No, I know we're in the middle of winter. I had somebody here say, "Hey, Mary, good to see you." Somebody said, "Welcome from Minnesota, someplace snowy." God, gosh, it's in the 20s here. So I understand that it's hard to go out and walk in the freezing cold. But just even in your house, just moving, cleaning, just getting up every time if you're sitting, moving, maybe doing some hoe downs, do some kitchen sink stretches. Just move. That's going to do it for you. All right, so I know I got off on a tangent. Imagine that, me doing that. Why does T-Tap work? Well, again, I'm going to say because just like Goldilocks in terms of how much and not too much, it does everything that we need to do in a very efficient way in a short amount of time. What is that? Well, number one, we need to be pumping that lymphatic system. We need to detox. It's one of the problems when we don't move, the fascia gets bound up and our lymphatic system gets sluggish and we're not pumping. Now, what does that mean? Well, every day we are just bombarded with all kinds of toxic chemicals from the air, from the food, from the water, just excess hormones that we need to process through. The stress, the hormonal stress. We need to be circulating and pumping and processing all that through the body. When we sit, everything stagnates. Think about water. Stagnant water just ends up with all kind of algae and bacteria. It becomes dirty and sluggish. It's the same thing with our bodies. Stagnant bodies become very toxic and sluggish, right? Because guess what? Like our bodies are what, 70% water. So think about that. We need to just move and move in really beautiful, novel ways. So moving is, if you just got to do it. And T-Tap does such a beautiful job of pumping the lymphatic system specifically. Teresa was talking lymphatic system 25, 30 years ago when nobody else was talking about it. Somehow she just knew this was really important. So when she developed this and kept studying to see, what moves seemed to be the most effective so she could put it in a way that helped all of us, she purposefully put in moves that pump the lymphatic system. In between every move is a very lymphatic movement. Hoe downs. One of the reasons that hoe downs is so important and works so beautifully, just that one 3-minute move, because every time we go up and down, we tap the toes, we tap our feet. That's pumping the lymphatic system. And then let's add the whole idea of the fascia fitness. Yes, the lymphatic system and the fascia system, it's all connected. So when that fascia, when we don't move and the fascia gets bound up around the feet and the ankles and the lower legs, everything, it goes all the way upstream. So it's all connected. How about arm pumps? What are we doing when we're pumping those arms up and down? Well, we're pumping all the lymphatic system from here. We do it right after we're working core. So we've got all that built in. Now, here's something else that most people don't really kind of connect to. I believe the other reason it's so important is because T-Tap focuses on the muscles that attach to our spine. So these are the muscles that are really, they're utilizing glucose fat at rest. And when we stop when we don't work the muscles of the spine, they atrophy. And now we don't have the ability to really metabolize the food that we're using and really work those muscles of the spine. She used to say it was spinal density. That was the word that she used, muscles around the core. So notice also with T-Tapp in the moves, Teresa created a workout that worked the spine from all its different ranges of motion. I'll put it that way. So, what are we always doing? We're curling the spine, right? We're arching. So, we're doing this motion a lot. And now we're opening up in that mid back, low back, belly. Then we go the other way. We're opening in the front of the body, we open in the back of the body. Then what do? Reach, scoop. We've got to be able to stretch the sides of the spine. So we do lots of reach, scoop, side stretches. Same thing with the big side stretch on our lawnmower moves. So we're stretching sides, and we do rotations, rotating the spine. We've got to get that rotation so that we can hinge all of this. Then what did she do? Then she added those organs in place where we're pulling up and then doing those moves to the side, cinching in here. So it's all the moves. Yes, we work on the extremities, but in our day, we're using the arms a lot. We're using our legs. But how often are we doing lots of all of these moves just in our daily practice? We don't. And even a lot of the other workouts aren't really focused a lot on that core muscle activation with each move. So I believe that's a huge, huge part of why T-Tapp is just so effective, and it works so quickly. Okay. Another beautiful one. How about the idea that with T-Tapp, it's very brain to body, right? So we're crossing the midline, we're syncing the left side and the right side of our brain. And listen, with T-Tapp, this is the good news and the bad news, is that there is a learning curve with it. No, you don't have to do it perfectly. No, you don't have to know all the form to get started. But the more you do it and the more you start working the brain, now you're going to start really feeling it and getting a little bit better form, etc. But the brain is the biggest glucose gobbler that we have in our body. So if I say to you, what really burns a lot of glucose? I don't know. What's the biggest organ for you? The glucose. It's your brain. So the fact that with T-Tapp, there's no music. And I know a lot of people are like, I really love to work out with music. Well, so do I. I love, love, love me some dancing. But you know what? When I'm doing a video or I'm doing a class, personally, even when I'm doing somebody else's and they've got that music going, I find that very annoying. Like, I want to focus on what I'm feeling in the body and what the person is saying. So while I know music is awesome, once you first have to learn it so that you can really get brain to body connected. And when you do that, the brain is working. So it's also great for cognition and for burning off excess glucose. Who thought of that, right? Isn't that amazing? It's the other reason, too, why when I teach classes, every class is a little different. Yes, you'll get some of the same moves, so you kind of know what's going on. And then I'll throw something or a modification in, or I'll shift up a little bit, maybe some of the sequencing. So I do that on purpose, A, because we want to challenge the body. We don't want to keep doing the same thing. We need to keep challenging. But B, we want to challenge the brain. So I know with T-Tapp, if we've been doing T-Tapp for a ton, right, all the time, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, side 2, 3, 4, like you can do it in your sleep. So now we're not challenging the brain. So that's why I like to, when I do it, I always in class, I'll give, okay, let's see, what count are we going to do today? And I'll change up the count. So now the brain has to think about, well, what are we doing, front and side? And, and sometimes we get all messed up, but it doesn't matter. It's all about challenging both the brain and the body. So all that's there. How about the idea of using the principles of high intensity interval training? That's another thing that we're finding, especially as we get a little bit older. With the body, that high intensity interval training can be very helpful at getting our bodies to really start to crank metabolically. So that's about bringing the heart rate up and bringing the heart rate down. And you do it a few times, but we never overdo it, right? So, 30 minutes, you're done, which is, I keep going back to that because that's really important. Well, guess what? That is built in to T-Tapp. And a lot of times what we'll do in class, we'll start with doing the repetitions 4 slowly. So we get really good muscle activation, and then we'll go 4 quickly. So we bring the heart rate up, we bring the heart rate down. We have a move that maybe slows it down and then speeds it up. So it's all built in. That's another reason. So it's just so efficient. It's going to give us everything that we need. And then, of course, I love adding on the stretch class to it, just as more of the relaxation. But you know what? With T-Tapp, there's stretching in it. So you really don't need to. You're already getting a lot of the stretches and the activation in it. So I hope that that helps and just gives you a little motivation, especially if you haven't done it for a while and you're like, I don't know, should I get back to it? Yes, get back to it. You'll love it. Re-feel it in your body. You know what I love? I love it when people say, when I did it, I got great results and I felt great. Why did I stop? Well, because life, that's why, And here's the great thing. Today's a new day. We can start it right again. I would also mention the idea of sleep. We cannot heal if we can't sleep. And let's face it, we get into some of these hormonal times and it's just hard to sleep, isn't it? So moving the muscles, processing through the stress, that's another reason why I find T-Tapp really helps us sleep better. And that's been another big result that a lot of my ladies have told me. They've been doing the challenge or whatever and like, oh my gosh, I'm like sleeping like the dead. It's just great. I haven't slept like this in years. I get that all the time. I get great sleep. And all of a sudden, I've got really good energy. Like I haven't had this much energy again in years. And this is even from people who have thyroid issues. All right. So yes, I know when you have hypothyroid and different thyroid issues, it can be challenging to lose weight, etc. And I'm not going to tell you if you're hypothyroid, you're going to do it for 4 days in a row and lose all these inches. But you know what? Over time, it really does help. And it helps to give you energy regardless of what's going on. Even with adrenal fatigue, maybe you'll do it. Maybe 30 minutes is too much for you, depending on where you're at with that. But I can tell you 10 minutes, 15 minutes can make all the difference for you. And I can say that because I had a chronic condition that I was challenged with for many years. I had complete adrenal exhaustion. But what I would do is get up off the couch and I would do 20, 30 minutes of T-Tapp. It would help me because I knew I needed to get that lymphatic system moving. And it did work. Now, that's me. Not everybody has that energy or that fortitude. But if you are there, I still highly recommend you give it a try. All right, I'm getting long-winded. I know I do that. And thanks, Bats Chat. My hair looks fabulous. Yeah, you know what? I'm having a good hair day. I thought I'd leave it down and not put it up in my puff. So thank you for that. Let's face it, girls, it's all about the hair anyway, right? All right, last thing that I'm going to answer is, well, where do you start? Where do I begin? All right, so I am I'm putting together a little class package with just a form tip class and 5 classes to start with, where you can just start 30 minutes and you don't need to do a whole big, learn all the moves. You can just get started because I teach it pretty quickly and it might take you a few times of doing it and watching it before you get the drift, but you know what? You're still going to get results. So I'm putting my final little icing on that cake, that little class package. I'll have that available probably in a few days. I'll put a link into both underneath this video on YouTube and in our group. But in the meantime, I do have a package called T-Tapp Method 101. And that's for those of you who really love digging down into all the details and all the form and exactly how to do everything. So I included that. So I have a short, yes, it is short, I promise you, short video on each move in the basic workout, which is where everybody starts. It was called a 15-minute workout. It was actually 18 minutes. And when it came out, it was fast. So I slow everything down so you can really learn how to do it. So I give a video for each move and with modification. So if you're somebody who really loves digging deep into that and feels like they need that, that is there. I'll include a link there for you. But I also have Basic Workout Plus, and it's a good 40 minutes. I know it's a little longer, but I slow it down, and truly, even if you don't know all the ins and outs, you can get that and just start moving your body, start experiencing the power of T-Tapp. So we have that as well. And I do live classes where I'm on Zoom. So right now I'm doing our live T-Tapp challenge, but you can come in anytime if you want to do the live classes. They're at 7:00 p.m. And you can just go to my site under live classes. You can just get maybe, a couple. You can buy one. You can do it online. So I have lots of different ways. In our group, we've got all kinds of great things. We've got videos and challenges and lots of support. So anywhere you want to start, we're here to support you. Because you know what, T-Tapp, it's a workout that we just, you know what, you guys, we can't let it just die. It's just such a jewel. It's to have a workout that you can get in and out in 30 minutes, work the whole body, feel great. You don't need equipment. You don't need anything. You need this much space. You can do it in your house. You can do it with others if you come on live. It's got it all. So I really hope, especially if you haven't been doing it, come back into the fold. And if you've never done it, I'm here to just help support you. Get started. You're going to love, love, love it. So thanks, you guys. Thanks for coming on tonight and listening to me. And thanks, Deb, and Kimberly's on. Thank you for that. And Mary's always here. And Julie, thank you. And Bex, whoever you are, thanks for the hair, love. And Margie. Thanks, you guys. So love you all. And again, any more questions, please always keep them coming so that I know what it is and how it is that I can answer for you. And thanks, Patricia. So you guys have a beautiful night, and I'll see you soon. Bye.